It's so bad right now.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, did you use Game Time to go to that game?
I did. I went to last night's game here in Anaheim. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed, and that was the deal, man. I got some cheap tickets, and man, what a ball game last night. Obviously didn't end the way the Yankees wanted. Hey, on today's show, we're going to preview Game 2 against the Halos. We also need to talk about Oswald Peraza. He was leading off, had a nice game last night, and we're going to talk about what his future role is with the Yankees, if anything, or what the plan is moving forward. Good discussion coming up here in a moment. But first, Stacey, last night, Sevy looked light years better. He ran into some trouble early, but I mean, I really liked his pitch sequencing early on in the game. He was throwing that cutter. The slider was working well. The changeup was working well. Like, we have been waiting for that Sevy for a while now.
Yeah. And there were a couple of instances where you're just like, uh-oh, is it gonna turn? Is it gonna be bad? And he got out of it most of the time. And what about that velo going up at certain points in the game?
We can jump off of that point. I was texting you again. I was at the game last night, so I was watching the gun, and I was literally texting you. I texted you, Sevy just hit 99.3 on the second 3-2 pitch to Neto late in the ball game, and then I said, "Oh my God, 99.9." Then he followed that up with 99.7. That came out of nowhere. I mean, with that was a great battle between him and Zach Neto. And I haven't seen Sevy throw that like 99.9. And he was sitting 97 to 98 all night and then really dialed it up there.
Yeah. Maybe the All-Star break helped him. Maybe the getting away from baseball completely helped him. And he just got his head on right. And yeah, I mean, 6 innings, 6 hits, the 1 earned run, 3 walks, not great, 3 strikeouts. Again, you know, he had a couple of moments there where you're thinking, is the other shoe going to drop? And it didn't. So he needed this badly.
Oh, astronomically badly. And he got it. I mean, he went to his cutter and his changeup and a couple of jams that we mentioned there. He looked really good with those pitches. He felt really good with that changeup, you can tell. To walk Shohei there to get to Moniak, that was massive to get out of that bases loaded jam. As you mentioned, the solo shot to Theis in the 6th inning. But, I mean, all in all, Sevy looked light years better. So you got to be really, really proud of that, happy of that. Obviously, the game did not go the way you wanted to, but, I mean, that's just massive. Speaking of, I wanted to get this out of the way, Stacey. Last night's game was a battle of managers. And
bad ones.
Not in a good way.
Right.
Not in a good way. I mean, and just coaching. Sending Zach Neto in that situation on the Shohei double. Where in the world is Bill Hasselman's head, the third base coach for the Angels? I have no idea. That's the second time in the last couple of games that Bill Hasselman has done that. By the way, a bad send to the plate. You know my gripe with the contact play. There was a contact play on for the Angels as well. Then leaving Griffin Canning in as long as Phil Nevin did after giving up a 2-out single, going out talking to him, leaving him in at 120 pitches or so. And then
that felt like Grady Little going out to talk to Pedro in Game 7 of the 0-3 ALCS when he had all those and all the stuff was happening in that inning, and he's like, "Yeah, you got it. You can say
go ahead. Yeah, no.
Who throws 120 pitches in 2023? Like, no one.
Like Canning was looking good, obviously, right? Like his slider was moving great last night.
12 strikeouts. The Yankees are making everyone look like Cy Young lately.
And like to get to that situation, and again, I was at the game. I looked at my friend who was there. I was like, Oswaldo's going to come up here. I was like, they're bringing in Herget. Herget just got called up that day. And I'm like, this is a massive mistake. Oswaldo swung a nice stick on Saturday. Like, this is a stupid move. And it was. And it ended up costing the Angels there, of course, a big 2-run double there for Oswaldo. That is huge for him. We'd love to see him. There's some guys that are starting to come around here that is, again, we're looking for bright sides, and that is obviously one of them. Oswaldo's starting to swing
coming
a better
around.
stick.
DJ's coming around because DJ had another hit tonight. So
pinch hitting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and again, that's not easy to do. Peraza did it in Colorado on Sunday, and asking someone to come in and pinch hit it's people think that it's easy to do something like that, but it's really not.
Before we get to the 9th inning, Stacey, the 7th. So, Shohei. They walked Shohei earlier in the game to face Moniak with the bases loaded, and it worked. It worked. Moniak's been swinging really well. He swings better against right-handed pitching, but they gambled and it paid off there. Why let Michael King face Shohei in the 7th? Why would you walk Shohei to load the bases against Sevy with 2 outs, but not walk Shohei to put first and second against King? I don't understand that move at all.
I don't either. And Boone did not have a great explanation for it in the postgame, to where when they cut back from his session in the office, even Ryan Rucco in Stanford was like, that explanation doesn't really make sense, because he said something to the effect of, if the guy on first made it to second, then they would walk. It was just something. It was a weird explanation. I didn't understand it when he said it. I don't understand why they did that. I really don't. And it was one of those moves where you just, how a movie's going to turn out.
Yeah. Oh, the whole building felt it. The building was on fire last night too. I mean, that was playoff atmosphere baseball. It was, there were Yankee fans always show up at Angel Stadium really well. They have for a long time, but that place was rocking last night on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for King. He's falling apart a bit. I saw a tweet with stats of his lately, and he's just kind of fallen off a cliff there a little more than some of the other bullpen arms. And there were guys that weren't available. The guys who pitched both games Saturday and Sunday in Colorado, so like Canely, Hamilton. Boone said that if the Yankees had scored in the top of the 10th, Clay Holmes would have been in to close, but alas, that did not happen. But poor King, yeah. And you saw it on his face too. It was like, ugh.
He's trying to sneak that fastball, and you can't sneak that fastball past Shohei. It's got to be 99 or above to get past him like that. You have to bury something there, or you have to at least go down and in and break it off the plate, which they didn't. They tried to stay away on him that whole at bat. And it just didn't make any sense. I didn't like the approach there for the Yankees. I'm curious if Michael King let me face him. Obviously, we don't know what happened in that mound visit, but that clearly was not the right move, and everybody could see that one coming. The 9th inning, Stacey. DJ singles to right. Hunter Renfroe bobbles the baseball. Again, this is a battle of managing, and it was a battle of teams who look better on paper. Let's be kind in that regard.
Yeah.
Renfroe bobbles it. DJ gets to second. Peraza walks.
What a game.
We're going to talk about Oswald in a second, a little bit more. They threw that first changeup to Stanton. He swung and missed in a big way. And I looked at my friend again. I was on fire last night, Stace. I could read the room. I was like Neo, man. And I said, you better not throw that changeup again. And they did. And Stanton, for the second game in a row, just missed a massive home run. He just missed that. That was a heartbreaker. Yeah. And then it even got worse because Glaber rolled into that double play on a pitch that he should have hit better.
Of all people, Glaber, who had been hitting in the beginning of the game and who's been hitting lately. And that's just the way it goes for the Yankees all the time lately.
Yeah. Brutal loss. Go to extra innings. Volpe strikes out with a runner at third. I thought Rizzo was going to homer there. That was my one miss. I thought Rizzo was going to homer in the 10th. But yeah, I mean, they had their chances. The Yankees spoiled it. They lost this game on their own, right? Like the decision to pitch to Shohei was obviously huge. It was a mistake pitch to Michael Stefanik, and that's all she wrote. I mean, that's just a tough one. It's another tough one.
Here's a fun fact to end this segment. The Yankees started off the year 5-2 in extra inning games. They're now 5-8.
Can't go to extras, man.
No.
Can't go to extras. And he shouldn't have had to.
No.
Plain and simple.
Nope. Poor Sevy.
Yeah, Sevy looked incredible. Like he needs to take away good, positive vibes from this one because
that's 2 starts in a row. As I said at the beginning, 6 innings, 1 run from your starter. What more could you ask for?
What do you want? What do you want? Yeah, I mean, again, Griffin Canning looked good. The slider was really working, but I mean, once you get to that bullpen, the Angels bullpen, I mean, you're facing Gerardo Reyes. No offense to Reyes, I thought he throws like 98, 99, but like he's barely been in the majors this year. He's pitched like 2 innings entering. You know, like it's just the Yankees need to be better offensively there. They just have to, and they have the right guys in the right spot. And I think they are swinging better. It's just a couple little mistakes, and it ends up costing you. They've now lost 3 of the first 4 out of the break. That is huge. That is huge.
Yeah, exactly what they didn't want.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see game 2. Drop your frustrations down below. Of course, there's a lot to talk about here already in game 1, so we'll see how game 2 goes. We're going to preview that later, but first, Stacey, of course, we have to talk about Oswald Peraza. What is his role on this team? We're going to talk about in a second. Drop your questions in the comments as well for Fan Mail Friday, and of course, subtext if you want to skip the line. That episode description has all the information. We're going to step aside.
Buying baseball tickets shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater shows near you. Steve's used Game Time for tickets this season, and it's been extremely simple. They take all the work out of buying tickets, so all you have to do is tap a few times, and you're in. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to just moments before first pitch. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for other events too, like football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With their lowest price guarantee and even event cancellation protection, Game Time is the best place to buy tickets in just a matter of seconds. Tickets for this series in Anaheim, by the way, as low as $3 a seat. So if you're in Anaheim, go. Do it. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, don't forget, coming up on tomorrow's show, we're going to recap Game 2 against the Halos, which, of course, late-night ball game. So if you're not staying up late, all you got to do is hit subscribe, and then you get the whole recap and whole conversation about it the very next morning. Again, just as a reminder, West Coast games, we aren't out at midnight because they're probably still playing. That's just how that works. So as soon as the episodes are ready to go, they will be released. You can catch that series, the whole season, everything on SiriusXM this year. Just Google SiriusXM. You can look up Yankees while you're in the app, which is available on every app store you can possibly find. Stacey, Oswald Peraza called up on Sunday, as we know. Of course, on unfortunate terms, you didn't want Josh Donaldson to get hurt for that, but that is the case. He was hurt with that calf strain. Oswald's up now. We saw him start and play third base in the leadoff spot yesterday. Full disclosure, we're recording this before Monday's game because West Coast. But I just kind of looked at some of the numbers here. We've talked about how Oswald has not played third base. I want to get to that a little bit later on here in this conversation. But just in the order, Stacey, we know that Boone said that DJ is still going to play the majority of the time, or at least that's what they're anticipating him playing the majority of time at third base in lieu of Josh Donaldson. But having Peraza in the leadoff spot might not be the best use of him over the last couple of years. That's been his worst batting order position for whatever the case is there. This year, he's been batting in the 2 and the 3 spot with Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Last season, he split time mostly in the 2 spot. Florial was leading off mostly last season, and of course is leading off this season for the Rail Riders too. So he batted first, second, and third last year. His highest OPS over the last 2 seasons is in the 2 spot. And also, he has struggled as the leadoff hitter in an inning overall. Again, notwithstanding of Monday night's game, because we haven't watched that because that game hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
This Steve and Stacey haven't seen that. But your thoughts, just him him batting in the leadoff spot. What do you think about that? Like, is he leadoff material in your mind?
I'm kind of surprised that they did that, because you would think they'd have all the numbers that you just mentioned and they wouldn't do that and they'd put someone else there. So I'm kind of surprised that they did that. And it's kind of like, I feel like they're throwing him into the fire. Like, hey, you're going to start and you're going to lead off. Have fun.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it here again. Peraza, followed by Stanton, Torres, Rizzo. Would you switch it around? I mean, you had Volpe, Bader, IKF, Oswaldo, and Trevino. Like, is there anyone in there? Like, would you throw Volpe back in the leadoff spot? Are you okay with that at this point? Because I can't earmark anybody. Like, maybe Bader?
Wait, what's the order? Peraza?
I kind of randomly read it for you. So it was Peraza, Stanton, Glaber, Rizzo, Bader, Volpe, IKF, Oswaldo, Trevino.
Stanton's second? Okay, wait. That
Yeah,
seems
well, I
weird
mean, they
to-
kind of lack a leadoff hitter, right?
Right. Although, I mean, Glaber's been doing okay in the leadoff spot. That's why I'm surprised
Yeah.
he's not there. But I figure,
Yeah, I mean, they
I don't-
put the hot bat in the 3 spot.
yeah. Which, all right, that kind of makes sense there. And they're probably just hoping that Oswald and Stanton get on base. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, that confounds me. That lineup confounds me. I don't understand what Boone's doing, but I say this all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I mean, just how in flux it is all season is confusing. Yes, injuries. Yes, I know. But I don't know. I don't like Oswald in the leadoff spot. He did it with us a little bit last season while I was watching him, obviously, when Florial got called as like the 27th or whatever. But I don't know. I don't love him in the leadoff spot. I think he has a good bat to be a run producer early in the game. And you know, struggling leading off an inning. I mean, realistically, what a leadoff man actually leads off a game, leads off an inning once, guaranteed
Right.
at least.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we can squabble with how they use him. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little undecided. I don't think he can't lead off. It's just historically over the last few seasons, it's not his best use.
Right.
That's as far as I'll put it. So we'll
Right.
see how that progresses. Where he is in the lineup, he could definitely bat 9. I think he could be a good, 9 hitter.
Yeah.
Trevino there makes sense too, at least for Monday night. So we'll see how that continues to progress. Stacey, I think more so here, he has only still played 2 games in his minor league career at third base. He has played 418 minor league games. Stacey, did the Yankees make a mistake this season by not moving Oswald to third, especially when they saw the lack of production from Josh Donaldson?
Yes, he should have been moved there probably by the beginning of May. Because you could see as soon as the season started, basically, that Donaldson wasn't doing much of anything. I said it on yesterday's show. He made that really good play at third in one of the later innings that I was very impressed by. It wasn't that easy of a play for him to make, and he nailed the runner at first. And for someone who doesn't normally play that position, he looked great to me, so I feel like he's a good enough player where he could play third, but I feel like they should have probably at least maybe mid-May, maybe not the beginning of May, but maybe by mid-May, they should have been like, let's start putting him at third base because things aren't so great up in the majors with Donaldson, and we might have to bring him up to play for him.
I wonder if, I'm trying to put my mind in that time frame. I wonder if they were also, even though on record we're saying Volpe's the shortstop,
Volpe.
the shortstop, they might have been
Right.
like, well, Volpe might not be the shortstop.
Right, that's true. That's also true. Yeah, that could be why.
Yeah, that might be why. But you would still also figure every now and then.
Yes, not just
Once, twice a
couple of
week.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I
I'd
mean,
agree with that.
even just having that option, I've talked about it on the show. I feel like he can play third. I have no qualms with him playing third base. He's got the arm strength. He's got the range. I think he's good to the left-hand side. He's pretty good up the middle from what I saw as a shortstop. So I do like, I think he's sound defensively. I have no problems with him defensively. I have no qualms with him playing third base. It just would be nice to see him to the backhand on the line with deeper throws, like back, a couple steps back. Just the angles of that, hot shots, things like that. Just get him more accustomed to that.
And, like,
if they
acclimated to the
anticipated
position.
just having the option would have been nice. Stacey, the future of Oswald Peraza. Do you think if he is not traded, we can get to that in a second. If he's not traded, is Oswald Peraza opening day 2024 on the roster?
If he sticks here, yeah. If he really puts on a show while he's here and he has a steady bat, like, I'm not expecting him to come up and hit 25 home runs. I'm just expecting him to maybe light a little bit of a fire under this team's rear end, because I feel like the injection of youth sometimes helps a team when they're kind of floundering a bit. And I mean, we saw it in the extra inning with Oswald and Oswaldo going together and creating that run scoring opportunity. And I was just like, okay, that was very cool for him to just come in suddenly, hey, here, you're going to pinch hit here. And he had a really big moment there. And if the game hadn't ended the way it did, he'd be one of the heroes of it. So he just needs to play steadily so he could stay. And if he does, I could see him up there in 2024. The Yankees would be dumb if they don't trade him away to waste him and not start him in 2024. Just do it already. Get these young kids up there and do it.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen other teams way more aggressive, obviously. Yeah. And the Yankees, for whatever reason, save Anthony Volpe, have been reluctant to be aggressive with moving prospects to the show.
Yeah. And it's, I'm sick of people always saying how Yankee prospects are always failing. And I'm like, well, it's also, they don't give them enough of a chance for them to succeed. So that's also a big problem that the Yankees have. Just let these kids play. Let the kids play.
We'll see. Let us know in the comment section down below. Would you trade Oswald Peraza? Obviously, that has a lot to do with how the next 2 weeks go, as we've been talking about. Not off to a great start if it keeps going in this direction. Again, we haven't seen last night's game just yet as of this recording. So after losing 2 of 3 in Colorado, if it keeps going down that path, Peraza's sticking around. I think the Yankees won't be buying much if they keep losing like that in tough, heartbreaking fashion. If they go on a run here over the next 2 weeks, maybe they buy all in. Maybe we could save that for a future discussion if that is the case. Maybe we give it another week here to see, is it worth to go all in on this team? Hey, Judge took some live BP against Nestor yesterday, so maybe Judge is close. I don't know. There's still no timetable on that. Yeah. Let us know again down in the comment section here on the YouTube side. We're going to step aside, but of course, when we come back, we got to preview Game 2 against the Halos. Hey, back here on Locked On Yankees. Of course, you can catch this Angels series while the boys are on the road on SiriusXM. Download the SiriusXM app in whatever app store you prefer. Stacey, game number 2. Before we get into this Germán versus Sandoval matchup, Stacey, how big is this game for the Yankees?
Oh, it's extremely big. I hate to say that it's a must-win on July 18th, but it's a must-win on July 18th. They've just been so bad lately. They were bad going into the break. They're bad coming out of the break. And if they, they're alone in last place now in the AL East. Congratulations. Good job, guys. And if they want to do something at the trade deadline that doesn't involve selling, they need to start winning.
Yeah. And that's what's frustrating again with this team is just like they are doing some things right now, right? It's out of the break. There are some things that are definitely going right. It's just not coming together in the end. Now 5 games over 500, which, yeah, that's good. But considering where they could/should be, not so much. Domingo Germán against Patrick Sandoval. Germán, after the perfect game, Stacey had a nice one in that game following, and then pitched well against the Cubs. I mean, he's on a better ride. I know you're not buying on Domingo Germán right now, but I mean, are you feeling at least somewhat jovial, if you will, heading into game 2?
Yeah, the audio people can't see my face. I mean, it would be great if he could go 6 innings like the previous 2 starters and just hope that the bullpen doesn't blow it. He went 6 against the Cubs. He only gave up 2 runs. I mean, if he could repeat that outing, that would be fantabulous. But I'm actually more concerned about the bullpen than I am about the starters right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
legit concern, but yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it on yesterday's show for a good chunk of time, man. It is worrisome because all year you've been able to earmark it and say, this bullpen's going to be great. Like, I don't even have to worry. We weren't even, remember we were talking about it like, a month ago? We're going like, I don't even worry about it.
Yeah. And now it's
just getting to the 7th with a lead.
And it's like, who's going to blow it this time? Because it's always a different guy. And it's just what's happening?
I don't know if there's even much they can do either. Like Matt Crook. Is Matt Crook going to save your bullpen right now?
No. No offense, but no.
I mean, need more than that.
Yeah.
Nick Ramirez was looking good until that changeup backed up on him. Patrick Sandoval, he's struggling. He's definitely struggling this season. He has not been going deep into the ball games. He has been getting hit around. I wouldn't say he's at pre-last night's Sevy levels right now, but he's not far away from it. He is getting hit around right now, and it's just not working out for him. So we'll see if the Yankees can feast on that. I mean, like you said, guys, look, this is a doom and gloom episode. This is just one of them.
I know. People are going to be like, you're so negative. Well, how do you want me to react to these last 2 games? I'm not going to be happy about most of it. There are some positives, but overall, I don't like watching this team. I don't like watching them. They don't make me happy. Baseball used to be my escape, and now I just want to escape from baseball.
Poor Stacy. Drop some hearts in the comment section here on YouTube for Stacy. Stacy needs it. Stacy really needs it right now. Hey, it's been tough. It's been tough. There's no denying that. Not exactly how you wanted to come out of the All-Star break. Let us know how you're feeling down below. I know there's some frustration to get out. And we talked about those first 10 to 15 games before the deadline. And boy, this is not the start you wanted. And Yankees, in all likelihood, need to win 6 in a row.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, 6
That would be a really bold prediction. That's not happening.
6 of 8. Can I say 6 of 8? Is that okay? Kansas City.
I mean, you can say it, but that's not happening.
Poor Stacy. Stacy needs to go to bed. It's a late night. Stacy needs to go to bed. All right, that means we're gonna wrap it up here today. Of course, don't forget, coming up tomorrow, we're going to recap Game 2. We'll have more discussions. We need to talk a little bit about Josh Donaldson. We didn't get to that. Of course, some terrible news about his calf, and it's just heartbreaking, man. I really hope the best for him. We'll talk about that a little bit on tomorrow's show and whatever in the world happens in Game 2. I'm not going to that one. Sorry, Stace. I'm going to stay home and watch that one for you. You can drop your questions down below, and of course, you can go to that episode description as well to find out about subtext where, hey, I was texting with a bunch of our subtexters last night while I was at the game and having a whole bunch of fun. So check that out. One-on-one text conversations with Stacy and me, and a free trial in there as well. All right, that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.